All right, we're going to find the equation of a line that passes through the point negative 5, 1 and has a slope of negative 6/5. All right, so I would suggest using the point slope form, and the reason why it's called the point slope form is you notice it has an x1 and y1, which that is the point, the labeling of the point right there, x1, y1. And then the slope is the same thing. We use the letter m for to represent the slope. All right, so we're going to go ahead and, like I said, I label this x1, y1, and I'm going to fill in my table. So here we go, y minus, and my y1 is a 1. My slope is going to be negative 6/5. And then it's going to be x minus. Now you've noticed my x1 is a negative 5, and I'm going to use a different color so it kind of stands out a little bit. Most teachers like to put them in parentheses. I just like to leave it like that to make it so I can see it better. And two negatives makes a positive. So now this is going to change to a positive. So I'm going to rewrite this so it looks like we've converted the two negatives into a positive. So instead of x minus a negative 5, we're going to say x plus 5. All right, this is the point slope. Sometimes you're asked to put it in point slope, which is typically an equation of a line. All right, so this is the point slope form. All right, now to make it into the slope intercept form, we take the the m, which is a slope, and we take the sign, if it's a sign in front of it, we take it along with it, and we distribute it to everything inside the parentheses. So my negative 6/5 is going to be negative 6/5 with an x in front of it. Then my negative 6/5 times 5. Now you have to remember old school. You could use a calculator, which I would suggest. Type in negative 6 divided by 5 and then multiply by 5. Or if you want to use old school, you say 6/5 and you're going to multiply it by 5. And remember, when you're multiplying fractions, you want to make them both look like they're fractions. And we multiply it straight across. And this makes it negative 30 over 5. And again, 5 goes into negative 30 negative 6 times. All right. And if you notice, you could have just cross-canceled and it would still have been negative 6. That's another way to do it. So this right here is negative 6. The first part stayed the same. We didn't do anything to it. Now, if you notice, once you get it in the point slope form, you're only going to do distributing and then move the number away from the y. So we still need to get it to where it's y equals in slope intercept form. You know, y equals mx plus b actually. So we're solving for y. So we have to ask ourselves what's being done to y. All right, and y is being, sorry, too far. Y is being subtracted by 1. So the opposite of subtract by 1 is add 1 to both sides of the equal sign. There's my equal sign. The y will bring the y down. Negative 1 plus 1 is what we call a zero pair. It cancels out. Negative 6/5 is my slope. And just make sure you be careful in this section right here. I call this the lookout section because most kids mess up here. It's wise to use a calculator, so hit negative 6 plus 1, and we should get a negative 5. So this right here is what we call our slope intercept form. This is the one where it's y equals mx plus b. Again, this is probably what, when they ask for a linear equation, this is the one they most likely are asking for. Now, I want to go ahead and show you how to put it in standard form. All right, so I'm going to take the problem that you have here, all right, and I'm going to put it in standard form. Let's see, I'm going to go here. So my y equals negative 6/5 x minus 5, I do believe is the problem. I'm going to go back and double check it, yes. All right, and I want to change, this is the slope intercept form, y equals mx plus b. We're going to convert it into the standard form, which is ax plus by equals c. All right, that means if you look at the standard form, they have the x and y on the same side. If you look at the slope intercept form, the y is on one side of the equal sign and the x is on the other side. So we've got to put the x with the y. So we do the opposite. Whenever you move anything over the equal sign, you have to do the opposite to both sides. So this is a minus 6/5, so we're going to add 6/5 x to both sides of the equal sign. All right, we just kind of clean things up. Remember, the letters x come before y in the alphabet, so that's what we do in our equation. So we have a positive 6/5 x. Now, what sign do I put next? Well, your y is next. And if you look up here, your y has no negative on it, so you know it's a positive. So we're going to put a plus because it's between two terms, two quantities, if you want to call it that way. The negative 6/5 and the plus 6/5, that's a zero pair. It kind of cancels out. So the only thing we do is bring down our -5. Now, it looks good. It's in standard form except for one thing. A cannot be a negative nor a fraction. And so what we have to do is get rid of the fraction. And the best way to do it is to look at the common denominator. You see the denominator is a 5. None of the other ones have a denominator. They're all like, really, it's 1, but we just don't see it. And so what we want to do is we're going to take the denominator, the common one, which is 5, and we're going to multiply it to every term in the form. So this one, you have 5 times 6, that's 30 over 5x. This one will be 5 times y is plus 5yx. I'm sorry, plus 5y equals, and then 5 times a -5 is a -25. Now, 5 can go into 36 times, so it's 6x plus 5y equals a -25. And this is the standard form version right here. This is the standard form, which is also a linear. So this is the one where it's ax plus by equals c. So you can see ax plus by equals c. Hope this helps.